So that's actually a really good way of putting it. So the Dark Ages, or what historians used to call the Dark Ages, now we call the early Middle Ages, was not the plummet of multiple centuries. So it used to be thought by historians based off of Petrarch and other humanists that the this period starting somewhere around 3 to 400, depending on exactly when it was written, who you're talking to. I'm just reading a book that starts somewhere around 300 as the beginning of the Dark Ages, and they go all the way up to 1000 or 1200. But as you're saying in this, the Bronze Age collapse, which was a massive collapse all around the Mediterranean, it took out multiple civilizations, almost took out the Egyptians, only lasted a few centuries. From about 1 to 200 years after the Bronze Age collapse, we have this rise of new civilizations that were even stronger and had better sources. We know more about them, their writing and all that type of stuff increased. Similarly, the Dark Ages, we have the what you could call the Roman collapse, the Western Roman collapse, just like we have the Bronze Age collapse. And starting somewhere around that period, depending on exactly when you put the date of the Western Roman collapse, before 76 with Romulus Augustulus, it could be a few years later. There was some strongholds and all that type of stuff. It's not all just singular. And starting throughout the 6th century, so all through the 500s, into the 600s, there was a big dip, but then that dip slowly started going back up as trade started being pushed back out. We now know there was more trade during that period than we used to think. They talk about, Dark Age historians back in the day talk about that culture disappeared. I don't really know how you define the disappearance of culture. It just transitioned from Mediterranean to Central European. That was just a transition of culture. They were still cultural growth. Art would change. There was still, metalwork or metallurgy being gone, leather work. Art things did get simplistic for a while, especially in vases, but art didn't disappear like they used to think. It just transitioned. Yes, the quality got simpler, but that sometimes it's just taste. You can see the same thing from the 80s to the 90s, or from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s. One could say that there was a cultural decline because you have hair metal in the 80s, you have all this huge, just a display of just, I don't know what you would call it, craziness really. But then by the time you get